Hi everyone, welcome back to the reality show girls with your hosts Whitney and Eleni.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. And we
Oh,
have, I don't know. We have like so much to go over today because there's so much happening. Love is Blind, Dancing with the Stars, 2-night event, and of course, Miss
the Golden
Joan.
Bachelorette, Miss Joan.
I loved every single episode I watched with all the things, and there's a lot of things to unpack.
So
But of
many
course,
things.
first, just some housekeeping.
Housekeeping. So you guys, if you're listening to this, that means you like us, right? So you need to give us a thumbs up on YouTube, like our Instagram posts, like our TikToks, follow us, subscribe to us, all the things, share anything that we post, and help spread the word of the reality show girls. Because,
And I think the word is spreading because we went to this pumpkin patch thing and we met this girl and she was like, I think I've listened to your podcast.
I
And
was
she was
like,
like,
what are you talking about?
I actually don't think she did, but you know what? I'm just gonna act like she did. And then
Make us feel better.
somebody I think spotted us, as in us, Whitney, but I'm an extension of Whitney because of the pod. Noticed Whitney at an audition. She like commented on one of our TikToks. So,
Oh, yeah.
we're making
I'm forgetting
strides, you
all of
could say.
this. Yeah, girl at my audition,
Yeah,
she saw my TikTok or our TikTok and
our
was like,
TikTok.
wait, you were at my audition. So
Yeah,
the word is spreading in the musical theater land. That's what we'll say.
I mean, you could say that, and it's very exciting. So I love
Very
to,
exciting.
and it all stems from honestly the shares and the likes. Just like the more engagement, obviously, more the word goes around. We gotta spread the good word to the people.
Spread the good word.
So now this marks we're gonna do I don't know how many episodes. I think 6 episodes or
Love is Blind 1 through 6.
Okay, yeah. Love is Blind 1 through 6. 7 through something already
7 through
released too,
10
but
just released, but we'll talk about that next week. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just gonna go over the first half. We'll go over the set just for those who are wondering why we're not doing all of it. We're just going to do it in chunks as it came out because it's just easier to do that. So first half, we'll do the back half, and then we'll do the reunion, which we're going to have a guest come on for the reunion to debrief that with us, which we're very excited for.
Should we reveal the guest?
Oh, not yet.
Oh,
let's let the people
okay.
wait. Yeah, it's going to be a guest. Someone who I've been waiting to actually come on this podcast. So I'm excited for that. Other than that, yes, we are separated. Obviously, we're not together. I'm in Atlanta currently for a wedding, which is like I'm in the midst of it. We're doing kind of a late night recording, so I feel a little delusional.
Very late.
Very late, but the pod, I have to write my maid of honor speech still. It's kind of done.
Oh, okay. You haven't done it yet.
Like, I think I know what I want to do. Like, what is the pattern? It's you say, hey, everyone, I'm so-and-so. And then you kind of just like talk about the bride. And then you talk about how you met the groom. And then you talk about how they're going to be great together. And then that's it, right? Like, that's the pattern.
I mean, you talk about like you and your relationship with the bride too, right?
Did you say that? Yeah, that's first. Yeah. I kind of weave that in throughout. Just kind of weave it through. I'll be weaving. So yeah, that's happening tomorrow.
Weaving.
I'll be weaving. Yeah, so that's all happening this weekend. Okay.
Sorry, as you're talking, I just remembered I have to enter the lottery for Wicked because I'm trying to see that this weekend.
Go ahead. That's more important. We already got our tickets for the Wicked released their movie tickets. We're going on the 20th, which is literally the first movie you can like first day you can see anything because it's the early release date because I'm going to Miami the day after. So we have to see it the 20th. We are sitting front fucking row. Our heads are going to be awful. It's going to be kind of horrible, but like I don't care.
I kind of wanted to ask if we could go to a different theater, but it's too late now because the tickets have been bought.
It's already gone. Like that's why we're sitting front row because those were the only tickets left, like everywhere. It's not ideal, but we are going to see it. We're going to be one of the first people to see it, and that's all that matters. And then I'm going to see it 5 days later. I already have those tickets. Like, it's already planned. I'm really, really, really excited for the movie. Also,
That's
I
why I
just
need
like,
to see this show because, like, yeah, I'm like genuinely interested to see it, but I really am not like, oh my god, I love Wicked, so I'm not like, and I'm not like a giant
I
Ariana stan like you, so you know what I mean. I'm happy to see
I'm
it, but
I know you are. I know you are. I'm like on another level because Wicked
yeah,
is one of my favorite musicals. I see it every year since I was like, I've been seeing it every year since I was like 13. It's like one of my favorite musicals. I remember the first time I saw it. I'll never forget the first time I saw it. I'll never forget the feeling I had inside of me. And I'm sorry, like comic I'm basic in this way that I feel like Wicked is one of the best. And you can find me on that. I'll die on this hill. But I just, and then obviously Ariana Grande, Cynthia, Jonathan Bailey. Like,
honestly,
this,
I'm really excited to see Jonathan Bailey.
I am so excited to see Jonathan Bailey in a musical role. Like,
He's a
and
dancing through life.
he is such a good leading man. I could kill him. I could kill him. I'm really excited. Sorry, we went off the point. How are you doing over there in New York by yourself? Your friend's coming soon.
I'm doing fine. I got my flu and COVID vaccine because it was just time for that. Because, you know, this girly loves, I don't love to get sick, but I just get sick a lot. And I was like, let me get my shots before I travel again and all that jazz.
I'm proud of
And
you.
so I started feeling a little sicky. You know, you get like some symptoms when you get it. So I was like coughing a bit last night. And then I woke up and my whole body was aching and I had to go to work in the morning and I just had to push through. And then I started getting chills, but I was like, is it actually chilly or is it just me? Like, cause it actually was cold outside today. I was like, oh, it's like fall. But then I was like, wait, is that just me? Am I just dying? So needless to say, by the time I got home, I was like, and I had to like sleep for 5 hours to recover. And now we're okay. It's all gone. And
Yeah,
that's a
I
shot for you.
that's every time I get the vaccine or the shots, I get so sick. Like, I get so sick for 2 days. So I can relate to that feeling. I know it sucks, but at least maybe you won't get sick or won't get COVID, but you maybe still have a chance of getting it. So
Hey,
actually,
hey,
sorry.
we're going to be
I mean, it doesn't,
healthy.
it lessens the chance.
Yeah.
Gotta take your vitamins, drink some water, all that good shit. Anyways,
Yeah. So we've been avoiding it, but we got to talk about this.
no, I
So
don't, no, seriously.
yes,
I've been really going around
yes.
the point, haven't I?
Yeah, but okay.
They
So
don't
last
care.
week,
They don't care,
I
Whitney. They don't care.
it's yes they do. Stop it. Last week we talked about Eleni. She was, she was back on Hinge. She was gonna go on a date, and we're like, all right, we're gonna see what happens. So do you want to explain what happened on that date?
Every time I try to open my mouth to explain it.
Bile creeps up.
Okay.
It wasn't the best, if you can't
It
tell.
wasn't good. Guys, it wasn't good. It was not good. It was not good. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna try to really get it together and try to tell this so quickly so I never ever 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 fucking think about this man ever again. So anyways, I go, oh god, oh. Okay, sorry. It's really that bad, guys. It's really that bad. He texts me. He said, "Let's go to this art gallery." I'm like, "Wow, that's perfect. Like, how sweet and amazing and perfect is that, right?" So I meet him at this art gallery. He's, first off, guys, the red flags were already happening because I just had a feeling his pictures were all good except like one. That one that just
Mm-hmm.
kind of looks a little, I'll say it, kind of ugly. And I'm like, kind of ugly. It's giving kind of ugly, but like the majority ones are good. So I'm like, he's probably a mix of that, the good and a little bit of that, a little nasty. I roll up in Chinatown to this establishment. Mind you, I forgot I've had to pack because I taught at Cycle Bar. I forgot my straightener. Whitney had to come all the way down to NoHo to give me my straightener because my hair, like it was already, the curls were brushed out. So it was like literally I couldn't do anything. Like it was just either frizz or like a tight bun. I'm not wearing a ballerina bun on a first date. I'm so sorry. So Whitney came in clutch. Like I was running outside with like my concealer on in the streets of NoHo, looking like a mess. Anyways, a lot went into this date, right? I roll up. Oh my God. He looked horrible. Sweater with like a stain. Small man. Very
A
small
stain?
man.
Like skinny
Stain.
or short?
Yes.
Both.
He was tall. I mean, he was taller than me, but like it just was like he was like, I haven't like dated a lanky guy in a while, which a lanky guy is in my repertoire, by the way. I've actually dated a lot of lanky men, so like I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of into that weirdly enough. So, but then I'm like I also like the opposite, so it's kind of crazy. I don't really have a type. I don't really know. But anyways, I was like this is not the lank I like. I don't like this lank. This lank is not mine. I hug him. I already am like, I'm done. I mean, I was like, one, two, three. I took 3 beats. I knew it was done. We go into the art gallery. It's not an art gallery, guys. It's a room, a white room with like a magazine scraping pinned to the wall, a few of those. It's
What?
crowded. I'm like, what's happening? I look in the back. There's like a projection. There's like a movie display. I don't even know what the fuck is happening. He's looking at me like I have 5 heads. He's like, wow, you have a really Greek nose. Okay. I don't know. I was like, not the comment about my nose, the first thing he says to me. Um, so we're casually talking. I can tell this man has I he was just a little under my grading. He was a little under out of my league. I'll just say it. He
Yeah.
was out of my league.
No,
Like he just
you were
really
out of
was.
his league, you mean?
But anyways, you know what I mean. He was far below. He's playing softball with kids, and I'm over here in the major leagues.
Mm-hmm.
I could
Mm-hmm.
not. I could not even believe it. So we're talking. I tell him about the podcast. It didn't reveal the name, so he can't fucking find me. But he is still creepy, so he might be finding me. And if he's listening to this, literally get off. I hate you. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, get off.
She's not kidding.
Literally get off. So he's talking, he's Persian. So I'm literally like, yeah, like there was a Persian king on The Bachelor, and like we talked about him and I loved him. And then he was like, oh yeah, like Sam N. He said his last name, I forgot. I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I know him.
That's crazy.
I was like, well, bitch, set me up with him because this is not working, please. But he was like from California. He was telling me about how his dad like can't go back to Iran. It was like a really kind of crazy situation. But
Oh
the
my
man
god.
kept talking and giving me history lessons. I was like, I'm not a history buff. I don't really care. And then I started not caring anymore. So then I'm just like, it's crowded. I'm kind of sweating. I have like the upper lip sweat about to
Oh
happen.
no,
And
not
I
that.
know, I was like, I know. That's why I was like, Lord Jesus, I need to get out of here. So he's like, I can tell the date's going nowhere, but I think he thinks it's still going. I tell him, oh, my roommate, you like happened to text me. I was like, oh my God, my roommate has to, oh my God, I have to go meet my roommate at like 8:30. I'm so sorry. He was like, oh, you want to go like smoke weed at my place? It's just around the corner. And I was like, you know what? Okay. If I'm gonna get anything out of this thing is that I'm gonna get high. So I go to his place. His place is nice. Well, actually, first off, it wasn't around the corner because he's like, oh, yeah, I got a lift. I was like, boy, I'm like, why are we in the lift? In the lift ride, he's like, yeah, so I DJ. He's like, so you and your roommate can come to one of my shows and we can maybe do a double date with one of my bros. I was like, oh, you DJ. He's like, oh yeah, yeah. And I was like, I said, that's not cute. And
No,
he was
that's
just
honestly a
like,
red flag.
he said it was Mr. Downtown. I said, What? Mr. Downtown and Ari is the other guy.
I
I'm really
really tried
exposing
looking
them.
them up and I
You
couldn't find
did?
anything. I know I couldn't
That's right.
find them, remember?
That's
So
right.
I was like,
So
well,
like,
not that good.
oh my God, y'all, I cannot believe it. So then we go to his place. He has weird stuff out. I'm just literally, I don't try to judge people, but I'm just like, his bed's not made. I see it in the corner. I'm pissed. Why is your bed not made? Even if you had the small chance that I was going to come over, make your bed. Yeah.
clean the place. Oh my God.
It wasn't like dirty, but I was just like the small nuance of like just not making your bed was just crazy. And I literally like
Yeah.
the first thing I saw was that, and I was like, "You didn't make your bed," and he starts like making it immediately. I was like, "Okay."
I'm
Then
dead.
he takes out a big dish from the fridge, and he's like, "Well, I prepped this if you want to eat." I said, I said I'm not hungry. I have never said that. I don't think. I'm always hungry. So the fact that I was like, I'm not hungry, I was literally like, that's crazy because my stomach was growling because I was actually really hungry. But I was like,
Oh my God.
I swear I'm going to Panda Express after all this to treat myself for going through this.
Oh
Anyways,
my God.
let me talk about his appearance because he had a beard, right? But then the stash was like more prominent than the beard. So it was like kind of like the like weird
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
There was
Mm.
my lord, my
I'm
lord.
scared. I'm scared.
Crumbs in the beard, crumbs in the beard. What the fuck did you eat before the date? Why are there motherfucking crumbs on in your beard? Disgusting.
I'm unwell.
And like I'm okay with a hairy man. Totally fine with it.
But you have
Hair,
to stay groomed.
hair in the ears, hair in the ears. Shave your ears. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Oh my God. Okay, I need you to get to the part. I need you to get to the
So
part.
okay, let's just fast forward because it was bad. I didn't even get high, y'all. I was like, Whitney texted me 5 times in a row
I don't even know what I was
because she
texting you
saw
about.
no, because you saw you were seeing The Notebook and you
Oh yeah,
saw
I need to talk about that
Zolea.
too.
Yeah.
Yes.
You saw them and you were texting me about it and I was like, "Oh, I really got to go. She's not doing well." He's like, "Let me walk you out." I said, "No, it's fine. It's fine." I was like, "The D's this way, right?" He's like, "No, let me walk you out." And I'm like, "Okay." So he's getting his shoes on. I'm like, "Okay." I was like, "Hurry up, hurry up." So then I'm going down and I'm like, I'm so motherfucking disgusted by this man. I don't even want to hug him. I don't even want to touch him. I don't even want to give him a handshake. I don't want anything from him. I never want to see him again. So I'm like, let me hug him. And like, I did like a real big extension of my neck, like a giraffe moment, as you will. And I'm hugging him and he like kisses me on the cheek. I don't even know how he did that because my neck
How
was
did he
so long.
reach? How did he reach?
How did he get there? I don't know. So he did like a little he did
Mm-hmm.
that. Okay? So I was just like, okay, that was weird. Like obviously did not need that. Then he pulls me in again, kisses me like right here in my forehead, like close to my eyebrow. I was like, bitch, get out of my eye. So then it's again. So then I
Oh
actually kind
God.
of panic a little bit because I'm like, he's pulling me into him. And I'm so obviously resisting. And he pulls me in. He grabs my chin. I
No.
lose my
No.
motherfucking shit. I literally lose my shit. I push him. I literally shove this man, this lanky ass Parisian man. I shove him off of me and I said no. And he said no. And I said no. And I start running, running, running. I
Oh
start running.
God.
I don't even look back. I don't look back. I don't look back at all. I don't look back.
And
I
you
call Kayla.
shouldn't because what the hell?
I mean, I just was amazed by that. And he didn't text me, thank God, and nothing came of it. But I called Kayla
For
and
him
I
that
just was like, I couldn't. I kept gagging. I was like about to throw up. Like it was so bad. And I stayed on FaceTime with her till I got to the train. And then I sat in silence. I sat there in silence. Didn't even put my headphones on. I said, I'm gonna just take some deep breaths and really, really ponder on my life. And I got to 125th, went to Panda Express, ate it all, got really high by myself, and then went to bed. And I said, we're gonna start new tomorrow.
That's crazy.
So I'm definitely not doing that again.
I mean, for him to just have the audacity to think that he can just go in for a kiss, like, and what, what, what was giving you the signs that anything of that sort should occur?
I mean, I think
Like,
I'm a nice person. So I wasn't
you weren't
necessarily
like,
like
but it's just consent, people, consent. Okay.
I
And of
just like
course, it's
think
just that obviously, like, no one likes to be asked to be kissed because it's awkward, but like,
No,
feel
but
it
I think
out.
there's
Like if you're obviously pulling back, then just be like, oh, let me just hug the girl and call it a day.
and I mean it was really fast. So like I in
Yeah,
his
everything
defense
happens in a
maybe
blur, but
yeah, and it's all of like
no
3
need to
seconds,
defend a
but
stupid
like
man.
yeah, no, I'm not defending like that's crazy. Like he's so in the wrong for that and I'm so glad I shoved him and ran.
Yeah,
Like as you should. I hope he fell when I shoved him. I shoved him pretty hard.
shove,
I get
baby,
because like
shove with
oh
no
girl.
love.
Ugh.
Blech.
Crumbs in the beard, crumbs in the beard. I cannot believe I saw that. So
That's
anyways,
crazy.
I'm taking a pause, not like intentionally because of that, but just like I don't think I'm like I really think this is my sign that I'm just not an online dating person. Like I tried it. Like
Yeah.
I think my therapist is gonna be proud of me.
Hmm.
I hope Lori's gonna be proud of me that I tried it and I did it. And I don't even think my heart is open to a new experience like that right now, anyways. So I think it's all good in the hood.
Yeah, I think to attempt to find someone, we just have to go out into the wild. I think that might be the best case. We got to find more group events and things like that rather than this whole stupid online thing because it's just
It's fine.
not working. But, I think it'll just have to come naturally because it's
Whatever.
just too much right now.
It's too
Hmm.
much. I'm not putting any more thought or effort into it.
Mm-mm. What will be, will be.
So
Anyway, so sorry you
it'll
had to
be.
experience that. Thank you for retelling it despite the horrors that came along with it. But
I think that was the most detailed. I think that's the
yeah, you
most
said
you'll
some
ever
stuff that
get
I
out of
didn't
me.
even know.
I'm
It
telling
was
you, there's more to it, Whitney. You're gonna hear things like 3 years later. I'm gonna be like, oh,
that happened. Yeah, 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 yeah.
like an
Oh
aha moment
God.
of from that time. Yeah, the crumbs in the
Damn.
beard was something I'll never forget. I told you about the crumbs.
Yeah, I knew about the
Yeah, yeah,
crumbs.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Disgusting. Disgusting. Well,
Let's
on a
get into it.
more fun note, I forgot
Oh
as
wait, we
as
have.
you talked about this, I just realized I've had a lot of not really like but like kind of like celebrity
You had
encounters.
two kind of low key celebrity sightings
Yeah, yeah. So I went
encounters.
while she was on her horrifying date, I was watching The Notebook because I had to see John F. Cardoza and Jordan Tyson perform
And of
before they
course,
left the show.
Miss Joy Woods.
And of course Joy Woods, but she is there a little bit longer, but you know. Um yeah, and I was sitting up in the mezzanine or whatever, and I look over to my left and I'm like, that looks like Soleil Pfeiffer. Miss Soleil about to star Moulin Rouge with John F. Cardoza. And I was like, is it her? And then I literally was like staring like hardcore at them for a while. And I was like, please turn your face this way. She was so chatty with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend, then his name is Kevin, and he's about to be the leading man in Gypsy, I think. And so he came to see Jordan and Joy, obviously. But yeah, clearly they're in love because she could not stop talking to this man. And I was just like, look over here, not at him. But yeah, I did confirm it was definitely them. And I was like, hello, these people that are sitting next to them. I'm like, you guys don't even know. You don't even know you're sitting next to people that are about to star on Broadway. Like, ugh. And then they had the nerve to like be talking during the show. And I was like, oh my God. Alas.
They were talking.
Anyway, yeah, the people that were sitting, that, not Soleil, the people sitting next to them.
Oh, I see. I see. I was like, oh, okay.
No, no, no,
Testing
no, no.
tea.
Sorry. And yeah, I didn't go up to them or anything though. I was like, let them do their own thing. But listening to John, I was just like, oh, literally perfect every time. I'm like, how do you sing like that? Same with Joy. I'm like, how do you sing that every night? How do you
Every
sing
night.
that song every night, every day? And just makes it seem so effortless. It was crazy. And then you saw Soleil, she was like, as she was singing, I was like, yes, you better cheer her on. I loved it.
Love
And
it.
then
I love
afterward,
it so much.
I was that girl who like stayed by the stage door or whatever. And I talked to John and I talked to,
Hmm.
what's the woman that plays the older Allie?
Oh, Marianne Plunkett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She asked if my family was okay from the hurricane. And I said, yes, they're okay.
Yeah. Everyone in
Very
Florida,
sweet.
if anyone listens to us, I think we maybe have a few Florida listeners. Hopefully everyone is okay.
Yeah. I hope everyone is doing
Um,
all right.
my Florida people, I think, are all fine, but, and I
Yeah.
mean, but
As far as I know. And then I was just, I was getting off of work. I don't know what I was doing. I was just walking around the city or whatever. And then I was chilling in Herald Square and I turned to my right and I'm like, that man looks real familiar. And I was like, is this the man? Is this Leo from Love Island USA? He wasn't on this most recent season, but the season before, and he caused all the chaos. He was with
Mhm,
Cassie, who came back to Love Island this season.
mhm.
And they were like, I think I'm just kind of spoiling it if you haven't seen this season, spoiler, but they were in the final two couples to win, despite him literally cheating on her at Casa and having sex with another girl at Casa Amor. So
Ugh.
he was a hot mess. And I was
But
like,
he lives
you
in
know
New
what?
York.
I'm still going to go talk to him. Yeah, because he lives in New York. And I literally, like, for 10 minutes, I was like, should I go up to him? Should I not? I'm like standing in a corner. I'm like putting on lip gloss so I don't look like total trash because I literally woke up at 6:30 that morning and just rolled out of bed. Um,
That was
but
so
I end
funny
up,
because you were also texting me, and I was like,
you're
"Oh
like, who?
yeah." I was like, "What is happening?" And also, I was in a dance class, so I just saw it on my phone. I'm like doing pirouettes. I was like, "What's happening over there?"
Yeah, yeah. But I did end up going up to him. I was like, are you Leo? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, I watched you on Love
Leo.
Island. What can I say? And then he literally pointed to the building that he lives in. He was like, yeah, I live right here. And I was like, sir, what if I'm a stalker? Why are you telling me where you live, first of all? And then I told him where I work, and he was like, oh, I think my sister goes there. And I was like, now I know who your sister is. Like,
Yeah,
he's just revealing
like
too much information to a stranger.
like
And
you should have just asked him to be on the podcast. Is my
I
thing.
know I should have done it, but he would have been like, what? You had to pay me. Like, he seems like the type that will want to be paid, you know?
Oh please.
You should, because I wasn't following him on Instagram, and then after I did, because I was just like, I don't know, maybe he'll notice. He did not notice. But his content is giving like influencer. You know what I mean? So he's trying to
Whatever.
make that bag to stay living in the city. Anyway, it was very fun. I mean, funny, I guess I should say, to see him in the wild. He's such a short king, but he is very pretty, so I'll give him that.
Well, there you
Um,
go. Short but
yeah,
pretty will get you far.
and
Should we
that's
talk
it
about a
on our
little
updates. Let's get into
little
the celebrity
celeb?
updates. Speaking
Speaking
of Love
of Love
Island, yeah,
Island,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So Hannah from this past season of Love
I
Island,
can't
she
believe
was
it.
she was the one that would leave makeup on every guy's face when she made out with them. She got arrested. I don't know where she was at. I just looked it up. Let me
Oh my
see.
god, the mugshot is
Yeah,
so
someone
crazy.
made a TikTok of her mugshot. It's just the photo, and then it has that music. I came here for love, and it's so funny with that music on top of it. Um, but and she was looking not too well, but
No, she looked just so bad in it. I was like, "Oh my gosh." The
yeah,
Came Here for
it
Love
was
edit
bad.
was wild.
It was crazy, but she got arrested at a concert because she was threatening a police officer. And she was a disorderly patient. She was a disorderly patron at the concert, and so they arrested her.
Oh.
And that totally tracks for Hannah. If I had to imagine someone doing that, I'd imagine her doing it.
Yeah, that's
But
probably about right, I suppose.
that was crazy and hilarious. And then speaking of charges and stuff, we just found out today that another person from the Golden Bachelorette has some bad history because Guy our guy, he
Guy.
has domestic violence. I don't know, his wife like tried to file domestic violence claims, I guess, against
Yeah.
him. It was like kind of during their divorce, like when they
Turkey.
were separated. I'm a bit
Yeah.
confused on like the situation, but I guess he like sort of like what bombarded her like as she was leaving the gym with a friend or something, and like made some comment. I don't really know what happened. I'm still confused by the whole thing, but I
Yeah.
think she like tried to drop the claim or whatever, and they were trying to like get it expunged or something like that. But when you're on television, the people will
Things
find
pop up.
everything.
People will find things, and especially
Hmm.
since like we've found like so well, we as in our Bachelor Nation. I act like I'm the president of it. Um we found so much about a lot of contestants. So I think people are always just trying to dig things up about these contestants because I mean a lot of things are slipping through the cracks and like I said, the casting has gotten a lot of like heat because of it, and as they should, because why are they putting these people on the show?
Literally.
But he did speak out on it. He posted something on his story, so it was very well written. It's just kind of like, I don't really know the story, so but that is happening, and of course it happens when they get like the one-on-ones because they start
Yeah,
to
it's kind
become
of crazy
relevant.
because he literally was talking about his divorce this episode.
I know.
And it had me suspicious anyway when he was talking about it. We'll get more into it when we talk about
Yeah,
Golden
but
Bachelorette. But yeah, that's unfortunate. And then another little piece of celebrity goss is that Jason Tartick, who was just starting to date Kat Stickler,
allegedly they broke up.
allegedly the two of them broke up, yes. And
Hilarious
um
because they were so
because
public about their
yeah,
relationship.
they're literally so public about it. And apparently she's taken down like every picture of them together, but like he still has stuff up, so that's confusing. But like he went on some or not, he was like out somewhere and like Justin and Susie were together, and then Blake and what's her face from Love is Blind that are together. They were coupled, and then it was just Jason by himself, and the people are like, that's kind of weird. So I wouldn't be surprised if they had broken up already. But
Also,
yeah.
Susie and Justin are definitely together still.
Yeah, it's giving that
Thing.
they're back together. But
It's
that's
giving
hard.
that, like, that
That's
whole
called
thing
a
was
relationship. The
yep.
break up, back together, break up again. So who knows? Rough.
Well, anyways, yeah.
But yeah, and then also, not a while back, a couple weeks ago, Caitlin Burstow brought up that whole tiff between her and Tasha because Caitlin is now dating Tasha's ex-husband. Did they get married or just ex-fiance? I think fiance.
They did not get married. Yeah.
Yeah. And Caitlin said that kind of really harsh and, dirty thing on the air about it all. And so Tasha posted a TikTok recently and it was basically like shading Caitlin and her not liking her. And then Jason reposted it and I was just like, oh Lord. Oh Lord, the drama of it all.
The
And
drama of it all.
good for them for trying to stay relevant. That's all I can say.
I mean, yeah, it's that and Caitlin Bristow. Oh, we'll get to her. We'll get to
She's
her.
also on this episode.
We'll
Obviously
get to
they
her.
know what they're doing. They're doing these
We'll
things at the
get to
right
her.
time.
Yeah, we'll get to
You know what I
her.
mean? Yeah. So there's that for the little celebrity gossip. Now let's get into Love is Blind. Are you
Love is
ready?
Blind. I'm so ready. I was just actually just pulling up the couples. I kind of like to discuss
Yeah.
couple by couple because it gets
Yeah, I
kind
think
of
we're gonna do it that way. That's how I
I
have it
first
written down.
just some general thoughts of the editing. I always love to something about reality TV shows that I love is the producing and just how they edit. It's something that I've like become so aware of, and I think that's like one of my
You
favorite
love
things to
it,
do.
or you just mean like because it
I
seems
just
like
love to
a
see,
lot of what they do. We'll get into it, but basically, I
yeah.
saw Cameron and gosh, what's her name right now? The amazing couple from season
Oh,
one,
Lauren and Cameron.
Cameron and Lauren,
Yeah.
Lauren and Cameron. Yeah, they have a podcast out now, and what's what's her name? Something in Barnett. They're the other couple from the first season.
Oh yeah,
Is it
Barnett. What was her
Ashley?
name? No, it wasn't
No,
Ashley. It did starts with an A though.
Amber. Amber
Amber
and
starts with an A.
Barnett, Matthew, Matt.
Yeah,
They came onto the podcast and they talked because I think they have free reign to just talk about Love is Blind now because it's been so
totally.
long. And they kind of just talked about how the producers edited however they wanted to, took things completely out of context, made a whole situation happen that didn't actually happen. So the editing is wild on the producer's end, but I'll let you continue after saying that.
Yeah, I don't know if I think I just like analyzing it. I don't know if I like it. I like to analyze it in all the shows that we watch because it's just interesting to see what they do with each season, how it evolves, how it's changed, just the editing. So I feel like in past seasons they just highlighted a few couples and went more like in depth. This season it's like all of the couples and it's in depth. I mean, we were in the pods for I think
Too
4
long.
episodes.
We
It
were in the
was like
pods way too long.
so in depth, which is like cool in a way, but also like I turned to Whitney at one point. I was like, I cannot believe we're still in the pods. Like I cannot believe we're
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
But I will say I think they've gotten some heat because they haven't showed all the couples, but we did see all the couples and
I
I
mean,
didn't
there were still
realize
people that didn't get shown at all, but it's just like,
yeah, of
how do
course.
you see
I
everybody?
mean, how can you do? I mean, it's the same thing with The Bachelor. There's some people that they could have had really great connection, great conversation, but they just never get seen.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how the show goes. That's show business, baby. But yeah, it's been interesting. I think overall, like that was my takeaway from the first couple of seasons. I'm like, wow, or episodes of the season is that, wow, we are going in depth with all these couples. And you can just tell that they're really trying to get some pull out of some of these couples, some tea. But I think it always unfolds the way it's going to. So, let's go couple by couple.
Yeah. I want to say before when they just start the episode, this is so random, but why Nick and our people, Nick and Vanessa, they come out, they're
Yep.
like, "Welcome to Love Is Blind," and I don't know how they got into the topic of situationships, but Nick was like, "I don't know what a situationship is." I'm like, "I know you're old, but you're not that old. You know what a situationship is,
It's
you know."
exactly what it sounds like, sir. It's
Exactly. And then
exactly what it sounds
Vanessa
like.
was like, "Let's role play a situationship." I'm like, "Girl, what you trying to say? You you want to have free reign to date whoever you want and keep it casual
She's
with
so
Nick?"
stupid.
She's so crazy.
I love
She's
her. I
crazy.
really do love her.
God, I love it. My God.
So,
Yeah. Um, I
um,
feel like should we get to the meat? I feel like the ones that really matter. I mean, not really matter, but just like the heavy
the
hitters in
heavy well,
the
okay, so
pods.
I will say, everyone did pretty well in the pods except our couple of triangles. The two
One was a
triangles that we
square.
had, one was a
We had a
square.
love square.
We had a love square,
I
which
figured we should
was
talk about them first. Yeah.
yeah, so that was Hannah,
Hannah,
our
Nick,
Nick.
and Leo and Brittany. Hannah is
Yeah.
26. She quit her job to come into the show.
Mm-hmm.
Nick D. His last name is Dorka,
Nicky
which is
D.
crazy. I'd be like, we are not taking your last name. I will be keeping my
Yeah.
last name at least because I will not be named Dorka. So sorry.
Dorka.
I don't know what
Nicky
his job
D.
is anymore because he just
He's
kept
an
talking about
ex.
football.
Yeah, he's an ex-athlete. He's in real estate, unfortunately.
Right. Mhm.
Yeah, so he does that, and then Hannah quit her job. Brittany she was a bit older. She
She's
kind of
32. She's
does,
an esthetician.
yeah, and she also saves
Yeah, she does like beach cleanups.
beach cleanups. She hosts beach cleanups, and then Leo.
Gosh, Leo.
Leo's the art dealer,
What?
and it has inherited
Even.
from his family. People are so funny on the internet. They're like,
Yeah.
suspicious that all of his family members died. I'm like, y'all are not
Literally,
accusing
it's
this
because
man of murder. This is crazy.
all the Menendez documentaries and series are coming out. So look, this is of course people are going to be wondering how that happened because
I
it
think
is
that's
kind of
so.
suspicious. Let's just leave it at that.
I mean, it is suspicious, but like that's I mean, if he really did that, I don't think he'd be on a show, and I
No,
don't think
that'd be
he killed his
crazy.
family members. But that is actually, I saw that and I was like, kind of like laughing low key because I'm just like, I mean, the world is crazy and twisted, and like I wouldn't put it past people, but also at the same time, I'm like that's crazy. So
Yeah.
Leo,
Our condolences to
our condolences, sorry, Leo, but
him.
Leo did inherit the business, and it's
And
done pretty
he
well.
does art dealing. He's an art
Yeah, and
dealer. There we go.
it's an art dealer, and he is just like a millionaire doing it. So
And he would not shut up about that in the pods.
but I also think it was the edit. I think it was the edit because his whole thing, like, listen, I'm looking at it from both ends because I do think he was like really annoying and like not the best person. But I will say, I think his reasoning from going on the show is that he like wanted to find someone, not because he's
He
trying to
wanted
find
that, but
someone.
then he would also just
But then
talk
he would
about the
also
fact that
mention,
he was rich. And so, like,
yeah.
you could have actually just kept that out if you wanted to.
And
You
then
know what
I
I
was thinking
mean?
to myself, but why does the rich part have anything to do with the looks? Because that doesn't correlate. But
It
anyways,
doesn't.
whatever.
The thing is, he
He,
wanted. I bet you because he's not the most attractive person. I'm just gonna say
yeah.
that. He's probably like, if
No,
people
I
know that
like his
I'm rich, but
nose.
they don't know what I look like, then they'll want me more. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe. Maybe. I thought he
That
was.
could be
I
part
thought
of
he was
it.
cute. I thought he was cute, and he was
He's
tall.
like fine, but that nose, wow. I love you. I know you love a big nose, but that nose was off the charts, bro.
No, that nose was definitely something special. That was definitely on
Mm-hmm.
another level. But anyways, he was into Brittany and both Hannah, gearing a little more towards Hannah pretty much the whole time until he basically had a conversation with Hannah because Hannah was kind of deciding between obviously Nikki D and Leo. This is how the swear happens. Hannah essentially kind of made the decision because a lot of the girls were like, yo, Nikki D is not it. He's a player. Like, that's not the
Yeah,
man
we
that
should.
you
Nikki D
want.
was a smooth talker. He said he was a
Smooth
football
talker.
player. So he just was screaming red flags to all the girls, and the girls were like, yeah, don't be with this
They were
man.
like, Hannah, don't do it. Then Hannah was like, okay, Hannah literally has no backbone. So she literally was like, okay, I'm going to break up with him. So she breaks up with him, breaks up with Leo. Wait, no, breaks up
No,
with,
she breaks up
sorry.
with Nick,
Oh, she breaks up with Nick. And then she's like emo as hell. Like she
and she
probably
already
shouldn't have
regrets
done
it.
that. Already regrets it. Has a date with him that night. They make up. They start talking again. And then she convinced
She goes
herself
to the
that she would
pod
go
with
back
Leo.
to Leo and break up with Leo.
Well, no, because she goes back to after she makes up with Nick, she goes to the pub with Leo, and then she's like talking with Leo as if they're like goody, good, good, good. And so like now she's still back in a triangle with them. And then Leo and Brittany are talking to each other, and Brittany is like sort of she's giving like housewife energy. She wants to like be taken care of. She, just wants to like all those things. But like she's like,
She's
there's more to
everything
me
I
than
don't
just
want
a
to be.
pretty face. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she also does want to be treated nicely.
I
And
kind of learned to like her at the end, and
yeah,
then she
in the
left.
end I
But
did.
yeah,
But so Leo is being kind of awful, and he's basically like talking to Brittany, and he's like, you know what? Hannah was my number one, but now you two are both number one. And she's like, is that supposed to make me feel better? Because it's not. Like, why
that's
would you
I
say
think
that? He's an actual
I
idiot.
he's an idiot, and I think that's when he lost her
Oh, absolutely.
because
Like she just
she
kept
was
progressively getting the ick. And
she just was not going to get there with him. Like I think I think she'll always just be questioning her connection with him because of what he said.
yeah, absolutely. And he would be like, "You know what? Tonight I'm going to do something special. I'm going to surprise you. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to surprise you." And then they get back together that night, and all he does is gets a blanket from the men's room, sprays it with his cologne and puts it in her room. Like, what?
I would
That's
literally be like,
it?
I'm ripping this to shreds, and I'm
She
gonna
literally didn't
kill.
even, she like tossed it over cuz she was like, "I am not. I can't. I can't. I can't." And I wouldn't be able to either. Like
You could just tell he really
he's
wanted
all.
Hannah, but then
And can we also just talk about him going "Mwah, mwah, 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 mwah."
to both
That
of
would have
them,
icked me out immediately. Yes, to
to
both
both of them.
girls. First of all, how dare you share them? Mwah, 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 mwah. And how dare
Ugh.
you do that in the first place? It's like an old and like your mom on the phone before. I mean, not my mom, but
It's
somebody's
just
mom.
like someone's mom does it, and I'm just like, that's crazy. I think then Hannah now realizes that she wants to be with Nikki D, and so
Hmm.
then she
And Kim,
decides,
let's talk
okay, I'm
about
gonna break up
Hannah.
with Leo. And yeah, really quickly before we get into the breakup, just general notes about Hannah. I'm so sorry.
Hannah,
Everyone's hating on Nick, saying that he described himself a certain way, but like, I'm so sorry, Hannah,
Hannah
baby
also
girl,
described herself a certain way that is going to, from just hearing those
insinuate.
words, give you a perception of her that is not really her, because
Uh-huh.
she immediately says that she was like a cheerleader, she dated the football players, and it's like all this stuff. And so in Nick's mind, he's like talking about like, oh, I can't wait to like hold you and touch you, and like, you in a bikini and all that. And obviously that's making her insecure. And like she looks great for who she is, but like you have to understand that if you talk about yourself in a certain way, that's going to give him expectations that aren't real. And
Yep.
vice versa, you can say the same thing for him by him
Hmm.
saying that he's a football player. But also, let's talk about that, because he literally says he's a kicker punter. And I'm sorry, I don't even know football that well, but I do know someone who's a kicker punter, and they are not big people. They are small
Yeah,
people. Like, because
she's
I
so
remember
dumb for that.
I had a friend in high school. He was in show choir, but he also was on the football team because he played soccer and he knew how to
Yep.
kick. And like, those people are not going to be big people.
A lot of
Anyway,
the yeah, that's a lot of the, especially in high school, like a lot of the kickers were literally in the soccer team because that's literally all they do. And
exactly.
he, like his stature, what he looks like is totally normal. So in
So
defense to
normal.
him, I don't know. I like low key have been siding with him a little bit more on right
Absolutely.
currently. Like it's weird,
I mean,
but I do want to get
Hannah
to the
being
breakup
young
with, yeah,
kind
I
of
do want
shows
to
it
get to
all.
the breakup with Leo and Hannah though, because eventually this is kind of the downfall of their relationship because she has to
The
pick
way
someone.
Leo handled this was
Ah, so
absolutely
crazy.
awful. So
Like he's
basically,
begging
Nick
her.
Nick professed his love to Hannah. She's like, you
Yeah,
know what? I love you too. And they decide that they're going to be a couple. So she goes to have a chat with Leo and essentially is breaking up with him. And he flips out, freaks out, starts
crazy.
yelling, started being like, if I had talked to you first, you would have chosen me, wouldn't you? Like, you're really just gonna let all this go because you chatted to him first? And she's like, wait, what? And she's like, I thought I knew what I was gonna do, but now you're making me feel bad and making me like doubt my decision because you're literally yelling at me. And he's like begging for her to like change her mind and like make a decision. And just the way he handled himself was absolutely awful.
So we just basically saw a man have a manic episode because he was rejected and he didn't want to be the one rejected. He wanted to reject her.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's
Absolutely.
period. Like that's how you sum that up because he isn't knew he ultimately was going to be with Hannah, and I think he knew ultimately he was going to be with Brittany either, but he just didn't want that look. So then the next day he comes back, they have like a closure talk, and he's just like, "Sorry, I was yelling. Like, yeah, we're not meant to be. We're not meant to be. Yeah, we never were meant to be." And then Hannah's
Yeah, I
just like,
wanted Brittany all along. So yeah, I think this is like a mutual breakup, right? Right? Yeah, totally.
and he's like, "Oh, could you also talk to Brittany for me and say
Just
that this
leave
never
it the
happened?"
word. Yeah, just say that I really love her, and
Hannah's like, "I'm staying out of that, but anyways, bye."
Hannah said absolutely not. No.
And then to kind of like put a pin in Leo and Brittany, they end up getting engaged. They end up meeting. Then
Which wait,
they,
before that even happens, though, before he proposes to her in the pods, she wrote this whole letter that was kind of like a breakup letter to him. She was like,
yeah,
"You have been so wishy washy, and I can't deal with this." Kind of
yeah, I didn't
basically.
understand that.
But then he proposes, and she's like, "You know
Roses.
what? Yes."
Yeah, the whole thing was weird. And then when they met, I think they were actually attracted to each other. And
What?
it, at
You thought
least
Brittany was
Leo,
attracted? No.
I think she was. I think
No,
she
she
really
looked so
was.
uncomfortable when they were together.
I don't know why, but I really
Are you
did think
okay?
she
Did you see the same thing that everyone else did?
No, I did see, like, I do think it's awkward. I think it's hard because it's like, first off, it's awkward, number 1, so you have that filter over it, but I think she did, like him. I don't know.
I did not see that. Basically, she came out, he came out. He was like, "Whoa, she's a smoke show. She's absolutely
Yeah.
stunning, gorgeous." And he literally like they like go to sit down on the couch. She's like, "Wow, this is crazy." And then he like, oh, the way he was grabbing her hair literally made me recoil. I wanted to be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Get your hands off of her." He was just like,
It's too
it's like he's
much.
never held a woman before in his life. And she was
Too
just like,
much.
"This is the most awkward moment of my life." That's literally what she said as she was trying to hold her. Like she was
Yeah.
giving like, "Please get away from me" vibes. She
He
was
was
not
very,
giving.
like, hands-on right away,
And
and I'm
she
like,
did not want to say "I love you." And she was like, "I'll say it when I feel it." And he was literally like, "Don't worry, I'll just keep saying I love you in the meantime." And it was just like, she was not giving that she was into this man at all. I'm so sorry.
they end up not getting chosen to go to Cabo. They go on
Which
a
is
trip to
interesting to
Miami.
say. And I
Yeah,
heard
so
that
that
I've heard that producers spoke on this, and they basically just said that they found their relationship to be inauthentic, and that's why they didn't choose them to go
I mean, it
forward.
kind of was because she couldn't even say "I love you" to the person that she was gonna marry. Like, what was that about? And then,
Yeah.
I
I
mean, they
mean,
go to Miami, and then we basically just get a slide saying that they broke up. So, like, there you go. It's kind of random. Like,
I
it
mean,
really
we
was
knew
like
that
a
they were
lot of
going to
time.
break up, but it was kind of crazy that they spent so much time with them because they were going to break up, and they weren't even going to go farther because they could have brought them just to keep that drama going, between the couples. But
Yeah,
I'm wondering if they will at least show up for like, when everyone gets together once they're
I
back in
assume.
DC. So I'm hoping that
I
happens.
assume they will maybe, but I think maybe definitely for the reunion. So maybe.
Well, yeah, but it's I love to see them all out in the wild at the bar
Oh,
and
me
they're
too.
like
Me too.
trying to talk to each other. So,
Me too.
yeah.
Okay, let's put like let's that yeah, that's that. Hannah and Nikki D right now are kind of struggling. I think,
Oh, we need to talk
that's
about them as a couple. So they end up getting engaged, and their meeting was rough because it seemed like Nick was actually interested in her. He was like happy when he saw her, but like Hannah immediately started getting the ick. She was like, Yeah, he doesn't look anything like he described himself to be. I was expecting like this big football player, jock
Yeah.
type, and he's like actually short. And she's like, "How tall are you?" And the thing is, she's wearing like 5-inch heels, and she's like already 5'8", so like she's gonna
Yeah.
be 6 foot. And she's like, "You're definitely not 6 foot." It's like, yes, he is. Like you're just the same height as him now because you have heels on. Like, are you
With
okay?
heels on.
I don't know. And like
Her
she'll
judgment for his looks was so wild after all of the time, like all of the stress. She basically was so stressed about her appearance and she being judged, and then she's over here judging him
judging
so
the heck
hard.
out of him, literally. And he's trying his best to just be like, "You look amazing. You look beautiful. Wow, I'm so happy." Like he just, I feel like he's trying to be genuine, and she's not.
They
She's
are
not
just
being
not meant to
genuine,
be.
and she's
Like
like literally leaning back from him as they're sitting together when they first meet, and like when they part ways, she does not look back at him at all. He like turns to look back at her, and she's just out the door.
I
And I
mean,
was
it's
just like,
always like it's just so evident that they're not going to
destined to
be
fail.
together.
And
But
then
and
when they go to Cabo, it gets even worse
yeah,
because there's a whole situation of him riding a duck.
with a lady, and then he calls her like when he tells the boys about it later, he was like, "Yeah, she was like a baddie at 60," and everyone's like, "Bro, what?"
I mean, I thought
That
that
was
was
such a
hilarious.
weird. That was such a weird comment. I literally laughed out loud when he said that. I was like, not him calling this woman a baddie, like
I
literally
think
the
he was
woman of
also
Cabo.
joking, but it's still crazy because basically Hannah is like, I'm gonna get icked out if you ride this duck in general. Then you are flirting with this old lady, and the old lady's like, don't get jealous, like speaking to Hannah, and she's like, Hannah just doesn't like the whole situation. And I can understand her being annoyed by that, but
Yeah,
also it's like, you can see both sides of the situation where like let the guy have a little bit of fun, but also the guy needs to understand and respect your relationship because you're just starting.
and the way
And
she deals with this is so funny because she gets the
God,
note card,
the passive aggressive note card.
the passive aggressive note card saying stating all the 10 things, the 7 things I hate about you, you're vain, so Miley Cyrus to Nick Jonas, like literally this has been done before, leaves it on the bedside table for him to see, so it's like very obviously written out for him to see, and then he's just like, why are we not talking about this? And they basically like kind of made up and they're still
She tries to
bickering.
make it sound like, oh, this is just how I process what I'm feeling. I just write it down. Like, but it's like, sure, you wrote it down, but you didn't have to leave it out for the man to find. Like, you clearly wanted him to find it. Like, don't be trying to act like you're. Ugh. And then I think this is probably the last thing about them that was really weird is that not Leo, sorry. Nick talks to her when they first get to Cabo, and he's like, I think we should keep our like sexual endeavors to ourselves and not talk
Yeah,
about it
there's
because I have a brand to uphold, he says. I'm like, what? What
okay,
brand?
literally. Is selling houses, be so for real. That job is fake.
Strange, strange. Um, and so she's like, okay, I guess. And so then everyone meets up together and all the other girls are talking about like, oh yeah, we had sex last night, whatever, whatever. And she was like, do I tell people? Do I not? But then she ends up telling one of the girls, like when she has a conversation off to the side, and then he comes up to her and he's like, we didn't have sex, right? And she's like, no. But then he's like, actually, you know what? You can tell people we had sex. And so it was just really weird. That whole situation was weird. It's just like,
I
everyone's going to
don't
talk
get it.
about it, so you might as well just admit that you did it or you didn't. It's very strange.
Yeah. They're not gonna last, but I'm here for it.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Another
them.
couple I
Whew.
have to talk about is Alex. Wait, yeah. Should we talk about
Alex and
Alex
Tim?
and Tim?
I
Which
guess
they like
so.
kind of they were like one of those couples that like they didn't have any tea with anyone else. Like they kind of just like built their foundation there,
And they
you
had a
know.
lot to build off of each other because they've been through a lot of trauma. Tim
Yeah.
lost both of his sisters.
Yep.
Alex, her parents had MS or
Yeah,
still
both of them.
do,
Yeah.
and
Both of them have
it's
MS.
been a struggle.
They so
And
related to each other. They got along. They
mhm.
had great conversations. He proposes. She says yes. They meet.
And
They seem
he
like
said an
they,
amazing that this was really sweet because like, obviously he lost his sisters, but he was like, I now get to give my parents one more daughter, like when they got
yeah, like
engaged. And I was like, oh, that was
really
so sweet.
sweet,
It all
wholesome
seems
things.
great. And then
And
it goes
oh my
wrong.
gosh, this fight, like I mean, this is really the only thing that
Well,
really was
first,
wrong.
the
But
precursor
things were a
before the
little,
fight.
yeah,
Yeah.
there was some things that happened.
It's like they immediately got out of the pods and like the real selves started showing because Alex was immediately like, I have it. She said that she has a temper and that both of them are very stubborn and that they
Yep.
won't change their ways. And so you're kind of like hearing all these tidbits and like those are like foreshadowing to this big argument that happens.
And also just like a general like body language shift between both of them. I can't really like put a pin on what it is, but just like an aura, I don't know what it is. Something just feels off in the air watching them together in person. Kind of just a weird over the layer of like what is happening. The night after, or the same night that the couples all like meet each other for the first time, they go back to to their room, and apparently they get in a fight. It's not on camera, which is so annoying, but like they get in a fight, and then all we see is the morning after how he knocks on the door, and then it's like he's coming in. Obviously he didn't sleep with her, so something happened. Apparently, like, I don't even know what the fight was generally about. Like, I think it was just like
So
some
apparently she just sort of like shut him out because she was like in a bad mood. She wouldn't say why, but she ends up
oh,
saying that it
oh,
was
it
just
was
because she was
because
homesick.
yeah, she was
And
homesick or whatever.
but like he was like, you're shutting me out. I'm trying to ask you what's wrong. You're not giving me anything. And then I guess things just got heated. She was probably a bit drunk and she started name calling him. At one
Yep.
point, she put her hand over his mouth. And I can only imagine
Crazy.
how the conversation went. And so obviously, he told her, like, before they even had a fight, he was like, the way when I handle arguments, I like to just step out of the situation. You know what I mean? And come
Mhm.
back when
Mhm.
things have settled down. And so he was like attempting to do that, but then she didn't want him to leave. But he was like, I think I should go. And that's what caused this whole back and forth to happen.
Yeah.
And so he
Yep.
ends up eventually leaving and staying by himself that night. And the way that they were like talking that morning after, he was completely disassociating. She's like trying to get
He
like
lost it.
apologize and like be like,
He was done. He's done.
he
He's
was
done. He
ready to
doesn't
break up with
he's
her.
done. He's done
And
because, like, that's a I mean, the thing is the moment you take someone I was, like, just reading this the other day. It was like, the moment you take someone back after they disrespect you, like, literally gives them the indication that that's okay, and, like, no matter what, they will do it again. Like, there's
mhm.
that problem that they had is going to arise again, and I think he knows that, so he's just like, "I cannot do this."
He's like, I need to go.
But I think it's
But
hard because they built such a strong foundation in the pods. I think it's just really hard for the people to, like, realize that it's not gonna work out
yeah, and so, like,
because
he or she tries to be like, "I'm sorry, like, can I give you a hug?" And he's honestly like, "I don't think I want that right now." But she despite him saying no, she goes over to him anyway and, like, starts hugging him, and he's
oh
literally, like,
god.
disassociating, like, looking out into space,
He's
like,
like
not even holding her, and she's, like, holding him, and I was just like, "Oh my god, this poor
he's like,
man."
"Please." She's
And,
like,
like,
"Please come
obviously,
back."
I'm sure he had did something's wrong in that conversation too, but, like
I mean, to her defense, if I was in a fight with someone and they just got up and left, I would be like, "Oh no, bitch, you ain't getting out of here. Like, we're talking. Like, you this is a relationship. You don't just get up and leave. Like, you have to
but
understand that your
obviously,
partner needs
he
something out
wanted
of
to leave after the disrespecting and the name calling happened, you know?
totally, totally. I think I mean, it's hard to say because we
We
don't
just don't
see
know
it.
what exactly happened.
We
Yeah.
don't know. I'm kind of I'm siding with him a little bit more just based off how he is reacting the next morning. Like,
Yeah.
that's basically all we're going off of. But I mean, to basically speed it up, we see them get through it and they're on a date and whatever. Like they get through it.
Yeah. So I
And
guess
it's not
we're
going to
gonna
last.
see how it ends up, but I'm assuming they are not gonna last. And then a similar couple, not similar, but just like same vibes is not Tim, Ashley and Tyler.
Yeah, Ashley and Tyler, I love them.
Um,
I actually love them though.
I love them,
I
but
love them.
things have come out about Tyler. Apparently, he has three kids.
Yeah.
He was
No, he
like,
has some kids.
it's interesting because basically it seems like he was sort of a sperm donor, but not really because he was very involved in their lives. But basically, a woman who's a lesbian, I guess they had some sort of arrangement where he was just going to be the sperm donor
Hmm.
for the kids, and
Hmm.
he was there for the birth. He like hung out with them. He would take care of them. They have pictures of them together, and then he kind of scrubbed all that once he got onto the show. And so she has been on social media lately, posting things like posting pictures of him with her kids, and like saying like he was very involved in their lives, and now all of a sudden because he's on the show he like dropped them and he like owes like $30,000 in child support and stuff like that. And so I don't know what the real tea is, but like he never mentioned them once. in these pods in this situation. So I'm just like, does she even know that he has kids? And then there was in the previews, it's kind of weird because she says something and she says something about where it says in the subtitles, it says that she's saying maybes, but I was like, is she saying maybes or babies? Like something about him and maybes or him and babies. I don't know what it is because I couldn't even tell because I just tried listening and I was like, I don't know what word
Yeah.
she's saying there. But it's just interesting because they do seem like they have a good relationship with each other. I cannot speak. But Tyler was like, I feel safe with her, and like in the pods, like she shares her favorite song with him. They're like listening on headphones, and then he says, I love you. And I was like, oh my God, this is all so sweet. And so I'm just like, I don't know what's going to happen. Because it
Oh.
seems like based off the teasers, there is
Well,
some drama between them.
there is some drama, but I think ultimately they're one of the stronger couples. They're one of the stronger couples, and then I mean, well, actually, I want to talk about the science couple.
Yeah, so
Um,
that's basically it with Ashley and Tyler. The science couple
yeah, I mean,
is
yeah,
Garrett and Taylor.
yeah,
Garrett's a how do you say that? Physicist?
physicist.
And Taylor, I don't know what she does, but it's something with
She was like, I
chemistry.
mean, she like got her degree, I think, or she was a chemist, but I don't think she does that anymore. But anyways, they're both like very sciencey. Really got along in the pods.
They both have
Um,
science tattoos. It's so cute.
Science
She's
tattoos,
very like sarcastic
gorge,
and like she's
dry,
beautiful. Dry
dry.
humor. But I like it. But it could be read as like, oh, do you actually like this guy or are you being mean? But I don't think she's actually being mean. I think she's just her dry humor.
Yeah, I don't think she's mean. I
She's
don't
just a
think
little
she likes
cold.
him. I just don't think they're gonna last. But
I don't know
I,
why you think that. I think she really does like him. And like
well, we
we'll
start
say
to
I
see.
watched episode 7 and like we'll get to that next week. But the way that she
Yeah.
handled the family meeting, I was like, yeah, she really likes him. So yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I just think there was some things though, like in Cabo, where you could just see something was off with them. Like just something
What
was
did you
off.
see?
I'm trying to remember the conversation that they had, and I forgot what it was exactly. And he was kind of like speaking, and she was just like, I don't know what you're saying. Like they were just like not connecting. I forgot. I'm trying to remember the conversation
Hmm.
exactly, but I can't
I
put
can't
my.
remember. But
There
going
was definitely
back,
something weird. There was definitely something weird between them, but I will say, their connection. They had no other connections to the pods. It was just them, and she was really adamant about not sharing like how she
yeah, that's
looked.
what I was gonna say. She like didn't want to reveal her mom's name because it gave away like her ethnicity. She's Asian,
Mm.
and she didn't want someone to like base the things off of that. And that was an interesting conversation between the two of them because he was like, I've only ever dated white girls, and he kind of took it in a weird way when she said, I don't want to reveal that. She was like, are you trying to be like, what's the word, like deceptive, like, or that's not the word that he used,
Yeah,
like
he was just kind of.
strategic. He was like,
Yeah,
it sounds like you're, it's like treating it
yeah.
more like a game. And she was like, no, I just want you to take me as I am and not have this
I feel like that's really
stereotype about me, I
hard. That's
guess.
really hard. I think in my situation, I just feel like culture is such a big part of my life, and I feel like it'd be so weird not to give away my ethnicity. Like it would just be so weird. But then it's like if I do, like he would be like, "Oh, she probably looks like this." But it's like but that
I
if
don't
that's such
know.
a big part of your life, like how do you not speak on it on the
I
pod?
mean,
Like on
I don't
TV?
know. I don't know
But I
how
get it
well
because you
she
don't want to give
does.
away. You don't want to give away. I don't know.
I
I
mean,
see
like
both sides.
being like Asian or black or something is very different. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
people people definitely judge off of that.
that's true.
So
That's
I
true.
just don't blame her for not wanting to
Yeah,
reveal that.
I get
But
it.
yeah. So also another conversation I thought that was interesting between them was like she was like, I don't want kids for another like 7 to 10 years or something like that, or maybe it was 5 to 7, and he was like, I kind of want kids sooner, and he was like, can we like come to a compromise? And she said, I don't think we need to compromise. I thought that was a weird answer that she gave, and then she like sort of like made it sound nicer after that, but I was just like, but you had to come to a compromise. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know what's going to happen there. If anything, that was like the iffy place for me with them. I was just like, she seems
There's
very
just
set in her
something.
ways.
There's
And
just
like,
something off. I don't know.
do
There's
I
like
really like her, and I actually really like him. So I'm like hoping that they end up being okay, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't end up being okay. You know?
I was rooting for them, but I just don't. For some reason, I just feel like they're not going to be together. I can't really
Yeah, but
put
I
a.
don't think it's because she doesn't like him. I do think that she actually really likes him. I
I
just
mean,
think fundamentally they might just be off on something.
I think everyone has love for each other. If you go, I mean, if they're proposing, like, and they said yes, like they have a bond that, like, obviously, like, we don't have an understanding about. So, like, I get that. A couple I want
Yeah,
to really, we're kind of seeing a slow downfall is Steven and
and Monica,
Monica. Monica is I forgot their
beautiful.
occupations. What does she do? Because he's an
I
electrician.
did not write down what she does, unfortunately.
I forgot what she does, but she's like just really, really beautiful. I think her dad's black, her mom's Honduran, just like a gorgeous human. Like she's so pretty.
Like giving Miss
Steven,
USA. Steven,
Steven is literally point 0.5 black, not
he would
even
not
like
shut up about this.
0.001% black. And he's just a big ginger man, and he's sweet. I mean, he came really sweet. Like in the pods, they were so cute in the pods. I was like, yes.
They were, but they did talk about some interesting topics because he talked about how he like emotionally cheated on his last girlfriend because he thought that he wasn't good enough for her or something, which I was like, sus, but okay, I
Like
guess
what?
thanks for saying it. And then that whole thing about him like discovering that he was part black. I mean, like, I can see it, but as I said, I'm like, if you're part black, that means that your ancestors probably did some things that they shouldn't have.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna just leave it at that and let y'all make your own opinion. But I'm just like, maybe you
That's
shouldn't be
so
flaunting it so much.
crazy.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
She wasn't thinking that. She was just like, "Oh my god, he's so
She was
sweet," and
not.
she
She's like,
like
oh my god, he
researched.
like went to he
Went
got
to like.
library books to look this up. I was like, okay.
I was like, "Girl,
Um.
girl, 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 girl."
Oh my
But when
god.
they
And then
met,
he called her a mutt too. By the way, I was like, oh my god, not you calling this girl a mutt because she's like mixed. I was like,
well,
what?
she's mixed, but
And then
like,
they also
mutt
talked
is
about
not the word.
voting too. They talk a lot about politics this season, and I'm very surprised how much they did that.
Yeah,
Like, it's really
yeah,
exposing a lot, and I was just like,
yeah.
oh, wow. But like he kind of said like, I voted Republican
For,
last
for
time, and
Trump,
then I voted Democratic this time, and I'm like somewhere in the middle now, and I was just like, wow, okay, well, you know.
he's saying it. I mean, like, obviously he voted for Trump. Like, look at him. Not to be, not
Then
to
he
be
found out he
judgy.
was 5% black, and he said, I got to change my
He
ways.
said, "I gotta stop." But when they meet, it seems like they're both pretty attracted to
Yeah,
each
I
other
was like, oh,
for the
they
most
like each
part.
other, they're
And
happy.
even in Cabo, like they're literally talking about how, I think they're like one of the couples that have sex, like they're just like all
Oh
over each
yeah,
other. Like, yes, yes,
it
yes, yes,
seems
yes.
great
And
at
then
first.
they
Things
have a
start to go over
conversation
bad.
about something, and then she did mention she's like, once girls get the ick, it's done. And I'm like, what a weird thing to say right now. I was like, does she have the ick? Because I'm like, I think
I wouldn't be surprised. Just
I
the
smell
way,
an ick coming on from her,
I
and
guess
I
we'll go
think
ahead
she
and get
has it.
into it
She has
because
it. She has the ick.
yeah, because after they all meet each other, they're back at their room, and he's a very chatty man, and he is like on a tangent. I don't even know what he's talking about anymore. And she's just like, "I love you, babe, but can you please shut the fuck up? Like,
Like,
I
please,
cannot get a
respectfully, shut the
word
fuck up.
in here." And I was just like, I do not blame you for saying that because I've been in those situations where I'm like, okay, you're just talking right now, but what are we even
Uh-huh.
talking about?
Like, what
You
are we even
know?
saying?
And it's just really their relationship is like weird because he's like trying to dote on her to make things okay, but like things aren't okay. And she's like,
The
it's
flowers.
fine, it's fine, it's fine. I love you. But like, obviously, like she's not fine. And yeah, I just from the previews, it seems like something goes badly on his end. He like something's changed, and
He
it
like
doesn't
didn't
seem
he
like
like
it's going to end
promise
well.
her they got in another little mini fight. These are just like a ton of mini fights. Obviously, we're not going to go over all of them, but like that one where he was like, she was like, you said that you were always going to like get me flowers and stuff, and like you haven't really given any gifts to me. But in his defense, like they're in Cabo, how is he supposed to give her gifts? But she was just like, you promise all these things, and like I actually need that in a relationship. Like I like gifts are one of my love language, and she was
Was
saying
that
that,
in
and I
1 through
just
6 or was that in the 7th episode?
I'm pretty sure it was in the 6th episode because they're in Cabo
I
still.
thought that was in the 7th episode, but I
Oh,
could be
maybe it's in the
wrong.
7th. Yeah. Well, anyways, multiple things are just not lining up. Like it just is weird vibes. I don't think they're gonna
Yeah.
last.
And she's like, I usually go for someone
He's
that like has a great
scared of her.
education. Yeah.
He's scared
And
of
like,
her. He's like, I don't want to fuck up. He's like, he's just making shit up at this point. He's just being like,
yeah.
oh, oh,
He's,
oh,
I mean,
oh.
same thing like he said with his ex girlfriend. He's like, I cheated on her because I felt like I wasn't good enough for her.
Yeah,
It's probably the same situation where he feels like he's not good enough for this girl. And granted, I don't know if he is.
he
So,
definitely isn't.
yeah.
Let's go to the couple that is actually good.
Oh my God. My favorite couple. I absolutely love them.
It's giving
Literally.
Benaya. It's giving Benaya and oh gosh, I forgot her name from the
Rachel?
UK. From the UK.
Is it Rachel?
I don't think it is Rachel, but it's
Oh
Benaya and
God.
whatever. Anyways, it is
I gotta find out because I'm
Marissa,
crazy.
Marissa and
Oh my God. Benaya and
Ramses.
Nicole. Sorry. That's the couple. The couple is
Nicole. I
Benaya
was
and
like, I
Nicole.
guess definitely, yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so this is Marissa and is it Ramses or Ramses? I think it's Ramses, right? I don't know.
I think it's Ramses. I don't know. Ramses. I think I just say Rams in my head. I'm like
Not
Rams.
Rams.
Rams. But
I
she
apologize
had
for
a
butchering your
love
name.
she
She
had a
was in
love
a
triangle
triangle.
in the pods, yeah, with that other military guy.
His name is Boudhan is his name.
Yeah, Boudhan.
And they seem like a really cute couple. I mean, a cute vibe at first. They were both like into fantasy and like they both like were in the
Military.
military and it was all good and nice, but I think it was just giving more friend vibes.
Definitely
And
friends vibes, yeah.
yeah, and but like it seems like because she was in the military, she was so used to like these hyper masculine men
Yeah.
that were just, set in their ways. And she was like, I want the complete opposite of that now. You know what I mean? And she wants someone that's like in their feelings that like, respects
Yeah.
women and just, is better than what you probably
And I
find
think
in the
that's
military.
ultimately was Ramses.
Absolutely. Let me just say,
So
this man, I love his style. I love everything. Literally, I mean, this is getting ahead of things, but like when she met that man and she was so giddy, I'd be the exact same way. I'm like, oh my God, I got the jackpot. Like, thank God. Like,
it's so funny because I really do love that vibe, but like I ultimately I can't romantically attach myself to someone like that, but although I really do love that energy, like what
mhm.
he gives, like what both of them give, I'm like, yes, but like romantically it's no for me, but like I totally understand it because the energy when they're together, it's like they meet, well, she eventually breaks up with Boudhan and they were actually all friends, like Boudhan and Ramses were like
Mhm.
friends, and then so it was kind of like a weird thing, but I think he was very understanding, and then
Yeah, he
when they
took it the
see each
best he
other,
could. Mhm.
yeah, and when they see each other in person, I mean, they are all over each other. They're just like so in love and
S-
love and love. And
So
Cabo
in love.
and
And
love
they
and love.
look
They talk.
beautiful together.
Okay, I will say in Cabo when she kept talking about like how they're having so much sex, I was like, girl, all right, we get it. We get
I thought it
it.
was hilarious. She was literally, I wrote this down. She said, I want to have sex. Yay.
That was really sweet. I love that. I love
I was
that.
like, yeah, girl, same.
But when she was with everyone talking about how much sex she was having, I was like, okay, girl, let's take it like a couple, like have so much sex. I'm so happy for you, but like literally, can we just?
Yeah.
Because like there's some people that haven't had sex, so you're just it's coming off of we're the superior couple, which I know she's not like meaning to do at all. It's just kind
Mm.
of like,
I guess I didn't really pick up on that, but I think I was maybe not paying as much attention. But
but they're great. They're like our
they're
top couple.
great, but I do think that there could be some things that aren't going to align very well with them because she was a military girl and he like his whole job, I forgot what his profession is. Do you have it on that? You said you had the people
Um,
up. He is an associate at a justice reform nonprofit. So basically, he's like trying to fight for justice. And, the military does not always, do things that could be seen as justice. So
oh, that's fair.
they're just gonna have some issues that in there, and like he was married before, and it was based off of like his faith, and then he sort of went away from his faith, and so
Yeah,
that's another topic too. But also she's also went away from her faith, so that's actually something they connect on. But basically from the previews, it makes it sound like something's going to go bad with them, but that also could just be them like doing a bait and switch thing and like making it seem like it's going to be bad. But I think that they might be able to work it out and be okay.
I think they're gonna be fine.
Like out of all the couples, they're the only one that I'm like, I can see this happening, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's kind of all I have to say about that.
yeah,
About it all. I mean, I'm all. There'll be more. So definitely thoughts will. But we've have the foundation laid out. I think there's going to be two couples, and if I were to put money on it, it's going to be Alex and Alex and Tim. No, it's not Alex and Tim.
you mean Ashley
Who
and
am I thinking?
Tyler?
I'm still, and I keep switching Marissa and Monica too. I'm like all over the place with the names. The names are very similar in my head. But those are the people that I think that could say yes. Everyone else I think is going to say no. I don't know.
I think possibly. Well, no, because from the preview, it seems like there's an ex-girlfriend situation with Garrett and, what's her name? Taylor. Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know what's going to happen there.
It's like Taylor, Tyler, Tim, Monica, Marissa. I'm like, okay.
Enough with the same letters. Well, I guess we'll wait and see what happens. I'm excited. I'm going to literally binge watch the next 2 episodes after we get off of this call. But
let's talk about Dancing with the Stars real quick.
My God.
So
Dancing with the Stars, a 2 nights episode. The first night was Soul Train vibes. The second one was hair metal vibes. And, you know, Soul Train was a lot of fun.
Some honorable mentions. Joey.
Freaking Joey. What did he did a jive. Oh my God. The camera immediately, he winked as the song started, and I was like, I was literally squealing like a schoolgirl when Joey was dancing. Like, everything he does, I'm just obsessed with it. Like, I'm so glad this man is not giving me the ick while he's dancing. You know what I mean?
He's gonna win. I hope he does. I really hope he does.
He's got to win, and people are gonna vote for him. That he'll win just with votes too. You know?
Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, Chandler obviously is really amazing. She's progressing every single week. I think it's kind of hard when they do the double because I'm only thinking about the metal night right now.
I know the hair metal night was rough.
Some takeaways is that Dwight like really messed up the Soul Train night and like completely like improv one part.
Yeah,
like,
he just
they
made
didn't have
his
a lot
own
of rehearsal time. Yeah, they didn't have a ton of rehearsal time, so I think they just kind of like.
I mean, good for him for coming up with a little improv. It wasn't noticeable, you know what I mean? But it's really funny, and he just didn't get good scores from it, and that was a little disappointing. But like, you know.
Yeah, other people, I think everyone
else.
Oh my God,
Reggie, Mr. Reginald, who liked our story, by the way. I don't know if we talked about that last pod or not, but we posted about him and he saw it.
He liked it.
And he did this cute little foxtrot to Singing in the Rain. He looked like Paddington Bear in his little yellow rain jacket and hat. And I was just like, please, you're so cute.
He's so cute.
Oh my God. And then Jen and Sasha did this Viennese waltz and everyone was obsessed with it. And I was like, wait, what's this chemistry happening at the end of the song? I was like, whoa.
I literally talked about this last week. I was like, their chemistry is like, people are going to talk about it.
They are. They're trying to ship them. And I'm like, girl,
Brooks and Gleb are like fully a couple at this point. Like, it's so weird.
A dance. So they did, what did they do? A rumba, but it was awful because they spent the whole like first 20 seconds just doing this skit on the couch of her being a therapist and him like acting and whatever. And then they like did the rumba and there was barely any hip movements. She was like doing the poses. Oh, and homegirl got so pissed off because the guest judge, Rosie Perez, she was like, you know, with modeling, you know, it's very like shoulder up, you're giving like the poses and everything, but like you're not giving the body. And she when she goes up to the skybox to talk about things, Julianne Hough asked about how she feels about it, and she was like, well, as a model, I know how to use my whole body. Like, she was basically like, she was pissed off that girl was like, you don't know how to use your body.
I think Rosie just had a good critique, but I think she was
said it a little wrong, but she's not wrong. Like,
not wrong. I think she was just saying that it wasn't fluid. Like, you're aware of your body, but that doesn't necessarily mean that
she's giving pictures. She's not giving the full thing.
She's not giving movement, and that's fine. Like, obviously, because she's a model. I will say though, she's kind of killing it. She's kind of
she redeemed herself. I guess we'll just go. I'll just go into her
Yeah, I
hair
mean,
metal night. She did a
Hair
lot
Metal Night,
better
yeah,
for that
so
dance.
good.
She had something to prove, and she proved it. You know what I mean?
And the thing is,
Um,
Gleb, I will say just about some of the obviously some of the stars are better at choreographing and teaching than others. And Gleb, I will say, is not the best choreographer and probably not the best
no.
teacher. But I will say they have obviously whatever the fuck connection they have going on is helping them, and she's improving. And I honestly think she will be might make it to the final four based off of their TikToks and all the hype around them. And she's actually becoming a good dancer.
Yes, but also I like look at the comment section of all the things she posts, and everyone is like, "You guys are disgusting. Like, stop trying to make this happen." Like, they're
Oh,
just people are saying a lot of negative things
they're
regarding their
haters.
relationship. Yeah,
I'm kind of not a hater. Because I just know it's like
I'm
fake. So
just
I just think
yeah,
it's funny.
I'm indifferent, but I'm just like
I'm just like, here
sometimes
we
I
go.
cringe at it all. You
I look
know.
at it and I'm just like, oh, here we go. And I always send it to you because I'm just like, not here's another one. Like it's just stupid. Like the
Hmm.
tattoo. Like all of this stuff is just so dumb. Whatever.
Yeah. Also, I
Whatever,
just want to
whatever.
say I can't remember what Alona did on Soul Train Night, but it was a foxtrot, and I just wrote that it was her best dance so far. Oh, she had the bangs, and I was like, Alona, you actually need to cop this look because
She looked really
it's a
good.
good hairstyle for her.
Oh, and then Metal
Um,
Night, she took uh
she
a
took
step
a
back.
deep dive down, unfortunately, and it was so sad
Unfortunately,
to see. She was doing what was the dance style?
I think it was a jive. I can't really remember though.
It was a jive, and she messed up a bit, and
Yeah.
she
She
knew that
couldn't get
she
it back.
messed up.
She just couldn't get
And
it back.
the worst question a person can ask you when you're not okay is, "Are you okay?" Because that is
Carry
what
on.
starts the waterworks. And Carrie Ann had the nerve to be like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "No, Carrie Ann, I've been better."
That was so funny. I love her for that. She is just like someone commented on one of these posts about her and said she is our princess. She's America's princess. She is America's princess. She is a
She's
princess.
really sweet. But
I
they
adore her. I adore her. I just love
yeah,
her.
yeah.
I just
Is
love
she the
her.
best dancer? No, but I love her
No,
personality and what she's giving. And she's
I could see
obviously
her
working
going.
hard, you know?
Yes, and she's really upset. And Homegirl doesn't give a fuck. She's just like, out here sobbing on the camera. Julianne's trying to talk. I'm literally like, she doesn't give a fuck. She's just so raw as a human. And it's
Mhm.
so fresh and just so nice to see what she brings to live television. I mean, how
Absolutely.
can you like that's you just be so
You can't
authentically
hate on
yourself.
her,
You
you know?
can't hate on her, and I'm so excited to see how she's gonna fucking kill it next week. I'm rooting for her.
Oh, I'm
Everyone's
sure
rooting for her.
everyone's rooting for her.
America
Absolutely.
is rooting for her,
We're
so
rooting
she's
for
gonna.
you.
We're all rooting for you. But yeah.
But I think that's it for Soul Train Night, besides also Julianne Hough struggling to say that Phaedra was a beautiful black woman in her commentary. And also, someone needs to take the mic away from her because Homegirl does not know how to host. I'm
You know
sorry.
how I feel about Julianne. Julianne Hough sucks. Julianne Hough
But
sucks at being
you
a
know who
host.
sucks even more? And they never need to bring this man back onto live television ever again is fucking is his name? What's his
Gene
Gene
Simmons. Gene
Simmons?
Simmons, get off my screen. I don't care if you're in Kiss. I don't
Absolutely
care.
horrible. This man was disgusting,
Disgusting.
misogynistic, racist, and just
Racist.
awful. Okay, so let's get
Racist.
into it. First dance is Danny and
Racism.
Whitney. I'm sorry, Danny was not. I'm sorry, Danny is so basic to me.
Don't do it to me. Don't do
I
it
don't
to me.
know. I don't know
Do
what
it
you
to me.
see in
Don't
this
do it.
man.
Don't,
He's
don't,
he's
don't,
like at
don't,
the
don't,
same
don't.
level every time he dances. I'm like, yeah, you're not improving for me.
I will say, no major improvements from this man this week, and I'll give you that. But I still love
Yeah,
him
he also
anyways.
struggled to
He's
get his leather jacket off, so I can't hate on him for that. But
oh, he did. He tried.
he tried exactly. So like that's
I
not
didn't
his
do it.
fault.
Yeah, yeah.
But the minute the dance is over, Gene Simmons is like calling Whitney a beautiful how beautiful she is, and just every girl that he sees that's a white woman, he's like, "You're beautiful. I love you." And I'm just like, why are you basing all your scores off of that and not what the actual content is?
He just like
Like
keeps mentioning
people that
it.
are on the judges panel need to actually know something about dancing, something about, you know what I mean? Like they can't just be random ass people, or at least like
Having him
give
on
them
was
the
so weird.
411 and like tell them how you're meant to score. You know, it was
Oh,
just ugh
so
disgusting.
I
Um,
hated it. I hated it. But
And I guess I'll just go. Let me just finish this tangent about this man. But
yeah,
basically, like Phaedra and
the
Val danced
scoring was
together,
crazy.
and that score was wild because like it was a great dance, and like the other judges loved it, and I think they gave her like sevens or something, seven and maybe an eight or
7s and
something.
8s
And
because
then
the
homeboy
group.
Gene, he said something nice to her. I think because he was just listening to the other judges, and they were like, and he's like, "Oh, they're saying nice things. I should say something nice too." But then he shows his paddle score, and it's a freaking 5. And like everyone was shocked when it happened. They're like, "What the heck?" And I thought it was absolutely hilarious because like Entertainment News or something interviewed her after the show, and they were like, "What did you think of Gene Simmons?" And she was like, "I just don't think that he likes short black women." And I was like, "Correct, you are correct."
Correct.
And then he goes on because Jen does her dance, and it was a paso doble, and it was pretty good. Also, she did some knee slides, and I was like, I know her knees are in pain from doing that.
She killed it.
She did great. She wasn't as much of a noodle, and I think Sasha's choreography was good to hide the noodle in her. You know what I mean?
Because the paso is like
But
so
then
strong. So
everyone was giving her great scores, and then Jean gives her a 6, and I'm just like, obviously, if you're
you're
not
racist.
a white woman, you're not getting a good score from this man. I think he only gave Chandler a decent score because she's actually like
And
a dancer, but like it's clear that there's some bias here. You know what I mean?
and to mention that he gave Brooks a 9 and said
And
10 and
tried
like
that's
messed
what the other
up.
thing was. Oh my god. Cuz like once you put in your score, you can't change it. And he had
Yeah,
put down a 9 and decided to try and change it to a 10, and then the higher up people were like it's actually a 9 because you can't change
yeah,
it now.
because they put their scores in right when the dance is done. They put it in
Mhm.
immediately, and then they do their commentary, and then it gets processed, and then they have
And
to
then
do
they
the
show
challenge,
their scores.
and then they show their scores, and then they hold the paddles. So he had already put 9, and then he just was going to put 10, like pulled the paddle out. He didn't have his
Like
paddles.
that I'm sorry, but Brooks did
Gosh,
not deserve a 10 for that. You know what I mean?
no,
Not even a 9. So
no,
like he literally did it just cuz she's hot, and I'm just like, you disgust me,
so
sir.
done.
Please don't ever show up on my screen again. And that's what all the comments are saying. Everyone's like, ABC, you owe
You
us an
messed up in that
apology.
one.
Like
Yeah.
we need a statement or something. I don't know. I doubt they'll do it, but crazy.
Um, the best dance of the night though, was Joey, hands down,
Joey,
hands down.
every week he surprises me. First he says last week he's a cheerleader. Then he says that
He's a drummer.
he's a drummer, and I'm like, you know what? This totally makes sense. This all makes sense. This is all tracking, and this is why I'm in love with Joey. He's like my like I've known I love this man from the minute he was chosen to
I know,
be. No, not
I
even
know.
from the minute he was on Charity Season. I
On
was
charity
like,
season,
I love this man.
we've loved him for so long.
But he literally has all the qualities of a man that I like. You know
No,
what I
I
mean?
know, I know.
And I'm just like, not you being musically talented and you're cute and you're an athlete and you're like not a misogynistic person. You're like a sweet boy. And then he does his dance and he was giving power. He was worried about his frame because this is his first time in frame and he held that frame. And also the freaking fire neck tattoo. I was kind of into it. I was like, Joey,
He just was so good.
Joey,
I hope he
please.
wins.
I know.
Well, next week Mark Ballas is going to be a guest judge, so thank God. We love
Hmm.
Mark. They're doing the most. They always do this every year. It's like
Dedications. I thought
it's
it was just like it's like a dedication dance, like they're dedicating their dance to
oh, is
something.
it?
I think
Oh,
that's what they said. I could be
or it's
wrong.
like their story. Oh, either way, it's the sentimental one. Let's just say that.
Mhm.
And Mark Ballas is going to be there. Derek Huff is going to be dancing with his wife Haley. Um,
Also, we
so
need to
I'm
talk about who got
ready.
eliminated.
Ready. Yeah.
Um,
Well,
the old
obviously,
men.
the old
Fine,
men.
they had to
Sad.
go. Put them out
I
of their
mean,
misery. They've done their best, but these poor guys are in pain. And I think they could have even just uh rigged the score so that they could go home because they need to rest. The boys
and
need
they
to
did. And
rest.
I will say one final thing, and we have to move on. But the way that they put Alona, that was so
They
calculated.
were awful for that. But yeah, they did that on purpose, having
It
Alona in
had
the
my heart
bottom three.
pounding. I
They
said,
had us
I
all
know.
pounding.
I was like, I love you, Reggie, but boy, you're out. Alona's in. Sorry.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Anyways, excited for next week. Let's move on to
Yeah,
Miss Joan.
we have to
Opening
bring it back
scene
next week.
is
Opening scene
is
of The
Chalk.
Bachelorette.
Chalk is crying. It looks like he's about to go home, and then we
Yeah.
go to the
But
announcement
I was
of
like, did they
the
edit the sniffs of him crying over and over? I was like, those sniffs did not happen that many times.
I don't know.
They love to do
Then
some
it
editing.
opens to the mansion men. We are the mansion men, and
The
it's
Mansion
Charles doing
Man
like a taekwondo
teaching them.
class.
Yes, it was so cute. I was like, oh my God,
This
love.
whole episode is geared towards Chalk because then it's a voiceover of Chalk and he's like sitting there and he's just like, I'm in love with her. When she opened up about how she was feeling, I felt more in love with her. So this man is tripping, falling. He's already
You got me
there. He's in love.
tripping, oh, stumbling.
Stumbling. He's done for. And then the
They go
Chippendale
to a
date
group date. It's a Chippendale striptease
and
thing. They're bearing it all for
woo,
cancer.
bearing it all for cancer.
And then Caitlin Bristow is like the sort of judge, but there is no judge. She's just there with
She's
Joan
just
to watch.
there, and then she comes out and she was like, Joan like introduces her, and then she's like, she was the Bachelorette. She does a podcast and stuff, and then she interjects Joan. She's like, and I won Dancing with the Stars.
Literally, I was like, why did you have to mention that? That's literally what I wrote
I
down.
literally like burst out laughing. I was like, all right, girl,
Yes. I was like,
you're
okay, calm
crazy.
down. Like, I guess because they're dancing, like, you have to say you dance too. I don't know, but it was cringe. It was very cringe.
Oh, I guess I didn't put that together, but that was pretty funny. But
That
because
was my
at the
only
time,
explanation, but I didn't like it.
well, but at the time, like they didn't even know that they were dancing, so it really was just so random.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And
But
so
anyways, that was the date. It was a Chippendale. They had the boys come out, and then they had the
they were all in
OGs come out.
costumes and stuff.
Yeah, the OGs came
And
out and they danced. They said, "We're gonna teach you how
the
to dance,
OG
boys."
Chippendale people? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and then oh my god, so Jonathan goes first on his little dance, and let me say, I was like, this man is too good at this. The producers were like, "Have you done this before?" And he was like, "No," and he's like, "No, really, I've
He
never
looked
done
so good. I
this."
was literally like, I was like, Whitney's probably dying right now watching this.
I was
Like
like, oh
literally,
my god, this is crazy. This man looks too good for his
he was the
age. You
best.
know what I
He was the
mean?
best.
But yeah, oh my god, Keith like was sliding in between Joan's legs, and then Chalk was grinding his like crotch in her face. I was like, oh my god, you guys are wild. Gary ripped his
Crazy.
shirt open. So did Charles. I was like, oh, this is so cute. Charles being trying to dance. Um,
Charles is so amazing. I love him.
yeah.
Even Gary, when he ripped his shirt off and his belly was like boom, boom, boom. I was like, yes, let that belly out, baby. Let that belly
Mm-hmm.
out. I loved it. Keith, why was he so ready for that? I was like, why is this man so excited for this? That was my
I
thing. I was
know.
like, this
Yeah,
man needs to calm down.
he was ready.
He's ready to
But
go.
then they afterwards they have like a talking portion, and Chalk ends up getting the rose, and he's so excited. And then it kind of flips because then the next day he finds out that his mom passed away, which is really sad. But like
What a
it was
freaking
something
downer.
like he knew it was coming because she was already in hospice and everything, and she's like 94 years old or something.
Yeah.
But ultimately he's like, I have to leave because I need to see her. And it's so Keith was like sobbing because he was like, I hate that he has to leave, and you know that this is happening because he and Joan have a real connection, and I'm just like, oh, these men really care about each other.
I know, it's so sweet to see that. It
Hmm.
really was. It was so sweet.
Yeah, so like he talks to Joan, and she's like, yeah, absolutely, go home, do what you need to do. And
Yeah.
to us, it makes it seem like he's going home and he's not going to come back.
Yeah.
And
But
but
he
then
didn't. Yeah. I don't know. We'll get there.
yeah, so then they
Spoiler alert, he
immediately
comes
go
back.
to yeah, he comes back. So then they go to the one-on-one dates, and it's first with Jordan, and they go ice skating, and he's literally like, I'll do anything except for ice skating because I don't know how, and they take him ice skating. And I was like, oh my god,
Yeah,
that's funny.
exactly.
I don't know why I still find this man so attractive, but also I just don't know. I don't know how I feel about them.
They're giving like more friends vibes, but like they end up like skating a little bit. They sit and talk. Like when they're talking, it's just very much like I
He
don't
talked
really
about
know
how
if
his
we're
wife
getting.
cheated.
Yeah, I just don't know if we're like really getting a true connection from them. I think they like each other's company, but I wouldn't say it's because I'm comparing it to Chalk. Like the strongest connection is with Chalk. So like
It
I'm literally
is.
in my head, I'm like, if it's not beating Chalk, then it's kind of like you're done, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So and then oh my gosh, they had what's the band? Oh my
I don't know
god,
this band, but I
they
guess
had
it's a
I can't
band.
fight this feeling anymore. I mean, literally, I'm blanking. The name is blanking, and it's gonna come to me like in the middle of the night. But anyways, I was like, okay, the band, the artists that they've had, I'm like, okay, let's go ABC. Also, how did they get the rights to Love Game by Lady Gaga for the strip for the Chippendale?
Let's have some fun. Let's beat a sec.
I was like, "Let's go, Love Game." Sorry, going back.
Also, I just
But
want to
yeah,
say, oh, he's a tongue first kisser. You know how we talked
I
about men.
noticed I literally saw that. I literally saw that. I was like,
I
"No,
was like, oh,
this
woo,
old ass man doing the tongue first is crazy."
crazy, crazy
But it
work,
was such a
sir.
short date. Like,
It was like both of
that's
the
all I have to
one-on-ones
say.
were, yeah. And then Guy has a one-on-one date, and this man is a
Yeah.
surgery. He did surgery, but he can't freaking uh
Zest
what
the
is it?
lemon.
Zest the lemon. He was struggling because they had a cooking date at the house, and she has a nice house that she's staying in, I'll say. And so they like cook dinner, and then they talk to each other, and that's when they start talking about like he was married for 30 years and then they got divorced, and he says he was like he basically wasn't ready, and I'm like that's suspicious. That's
He also
suspicious.
said he also said something that I think is relatable to a lot of couples. It's like when the kids go out, grow up and empty nesters. It's like you look at your partner and you're kind of just like, "Oh, who are you again?"
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
we've just kind of been vibing and living together, but do we even love each other? Which is like a really
it's
real thing
really
for a lot of
common.
people.
Yeah, he talks about like the relationship ending, and then that now that we know that like the
That
relationship ended, and I was like this feels suspicious, and then the things came out about him having this domestic violence thing. I'm like, ooh, yikes.
yeah.
But ultimately he gets a rose, and so then they go to the rose, I mean not the cocktail party, and they have this shot of Joan before she gets there. The cocktail party, she's like at her house, I think, and she's like out on an infinity pool, and there's like clouds in the sky, and I'm like a mountain. I'm like, girl, where
That
are you
was
staying?
no, I literally was like so shook by that.
She's wearing a white dress like she's
She
like in
looked amazing.
Hercules. I'm like, where's Mark to be
She
Zaddy
looked so
Zeus?
Oh, wait, I had something to say about Mark
What's
because
that?
He called Kelsey.
Oh
And
yeah.
Joey made another feature. I was like, Joey is like literally never getting off our screens, and I love it.
No, stay as long as you want to, my
Stay
dear.
as long as you want.
Hmm.
Yeah. But anyways, that shot was crazy with the
It
clouds. I was like,
was.
is
I was
she
like,
in
oh my
heaven? Like
god. Yeah,
I said, she's in heaven. Um,
truly.
Cocktail
And
party.
cocktail parties, I this is the one thing I noticed, that she spoke to Pascal and she was like, you're not giving me any attention. What's that about? And he was like, oh, I just don't like to put myself out there in group situations. I'm much better one on one. And she's like, okay. So I think she really does like Pascal, but she's like,
She
wait,
does.
like, give me attention, please.
She really does love him.
And
I'm
he
like,
has,
oh my God.
that French laid back
Yeah.
sense of self. So yeah. Oh my god! And then Jonathan, I thought this was kind of telling. Like, obviously, her and Jonathan aren't going to be a thing because, they were like, What's your morning like?" First of all, they're both getting up at 5:30 in the morning. That's crazy. Like, you're
I'm
old.
like,
Like, how are you
go to
not
bed.
go back to
Go to
bed?
bed.
Yeah, but he's like, yeah, I wake up at 5:30. I do this. I do that. I get my coffee. I get back in bed and just hang out. And she was like, oh, by 7:30, I'm out the door. I'm going to work. And so he was like, oh, so you're not going to hang out with me? And she's like, on the weekends I will. But it's just obviously like their vibes are a
Too
bit different.
different.
You know what I mean?
Vibes are different.
Oh, and then poor Keith, he was struggling for words when he was having his
I was
conversation
just
with
about to
Joan.
say that was bad.
It was bad. I was like,
He
oh
was like
no.
sweating. I think he just put a lot of pressure on himself.
Also, it seemed like they were in an uncomfortable sitting situation. I would not want to be
And like
sitting like that.
in the body language, he was so like close to her, and then she was like kind of upright, and then she's just like asking him basic questions. It was just very
It was
surface level
weird.
conversation, very
Hmm.
surface level. They didn't get anywhere, and he's just like, "Oh man, I fumbled the bag afterwards," and he kind of
Hmm.
did, kind of fumbled the
He
bag, but
did. He did.
ultimately it's fine. He's
He
lived to
got the
see
last
another day.
rose and he lives to see another day.
Lives to see
But
another day.
then Chalk comes back. So I'm like, how long did he spend away to see his mom? It must have been like 36 hours max, like maybe
It must have
48.
been so he did his
Because it
the
was
group
group date,
date.
then probably one day for Jordan, one day for Guy. So like
Yeah.
probably 48
So
hours that
yeah,
he was
and then
gone.
maybe there was a day before, but maybe there was a day in between for the rose ceremony cocktail party.
Possibly, but I don't know.
Possibly. We
But
don't
I'm
know
sure
timeline, so I don't know.
I can't blame him for coming back that quickly because I'm sure his family was like, you know, your mom wanted you to be happy. I'm sure she wouldn't want you to like leave everything and this opportunity where you're
Of
really falling for
course.
someone. Like, go and finish the story you need to
I mean, he
tell.
basically like went, saw his family, probably dealt with funeral stuff, did the funeral, and then came back.
I don't know if they did a funeral that quickly, but who knows?
Maybe they could have. I'm assuming it was like 3 days, so hopefully they got to do all of that, and he got to be there. And I get it, like when you die at 94, it's different. Like if
It
obviously if
is.
it was like
And her
another death,
husband was
like
still around too, so it's not like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah. So, anyways, sad, but I'm happy that he's back because like I literally think he's gonna win. I think
Yeah,
that's
like it
literally
was so funny.
it's
She
so
was like walking the steps to go back in the house, and then he's like, "Joan," and she's like,
odd.
"Chuck." It was just like, okay, Disney moment, and um, yeah, they like are kissing, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm so happy to be back with you. I'm falling for you," type thing.
Love it.
And yeah, then we go
Happy
to the
for them.
rose ceremony, and our favorite guys, our
Don't.
lovely, lovely Gary and Charles, they don't make it. Which is so sad, and which I think they were trying to lessen the blow by not showing Charles as much this episode as they have been in previous episodes. They were like, let's not give him too much, or they'll just be so disappointed, you know.
Charles, Gary, Dan,
Dan and Gil also go home. Goodbye,
and
Gil.
Gil. Bye, Gil.
Oh, and
Dan
then I
had
thought
too
it
many health
was
issues.
yeah, but Dan was so sweet. He was just like, I live alone, and it's been so nice to be around people and like have like this
I mean,
brotherhood,
yeah,
basically.
all of those men practically live alone, so it's like a very
Yeah.
that's why they've gotten along so well. It's like they all like mutually bond over a lot of the same similar
It's
things.
like
They're the
they're
same
young
age.
and back at summer camp again, you know?
How often are you exposed to that many people that are basically in the same step of life
Yeah,
as
like
you?
unless you're at like one of those retirement communities.
Yeah, I'm just like it's a very unique process that they go through, and I think it's just they create a bond. And obviously, Charles was like, "I didn't find love, but I found like love in a different way." Dan said the same thing.
Mhm.
Oh my god, it was
It was
so
so sweet. And then all the men that stayed, they like were hugging the guys at the end as they were leaving, and I was just like, "Oh, I love this."
it was so
Yeah,
perfect. I'm gonna miss
so
them, but
perfect.
we are in a new level, though. We are at a new level. When I saw the roses with just a few, where I saw the
Yeah.
tray with just a few roses on it, I was like, "Oh shit,
Mhm. It's
it's
getting
getting
serious.
it's getting serious." So
And they show the preview, and they kind of like tease more about Mark's one-on-one, it seems like, and like there's like a voiceover of Joan saying, "I love you, Mark." But I'm like, in what context? You know what I
but she
mean?
also said, "I love you" to all the men that left. She
Exactly.
was like,
That's why
"I
I'm
love
like,
you,
in what
Gary."
context did you actually say, "I love you, Mark"? Because it could have just been in a friendship type of way. So I
And
don't know.
You see Guy saying like, "I'm in love with you." I knew Guy was gonna like. I had a feeling that like we're gonna have someone come out of like nowhere, like Guy. But
I
ultimately, I
don't really
think
know if
Chalk.
she likes him that much.
I don't think so. Guy loves her.
Mm,
I think Chalk is ultimately our winner. I still think Pascal is going to be there at the end. I
mm.
I do think Jonathan will be there at the end.
Me too. Yeah, it's
The
definitely
fourth
Final
position,
Four.
this is kind of crazy.
A
I really
toss
do.
up.
It's a toss up, but I'm starting to honestly maybe.
You think it's Guy?
I think it's either Guy or Mark.
Yeah, I think
And
it. I
I know
think
I've
it.
been shutting off Mark this whole time, but now
You
I'm like,
have, but like based off of this preview, it's giving that Mark is about to have his moment. You know?
so I'm gonna leave it like that. Yeah. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts?
And unless Keith makes a real comeback, it could be him. But right now,
Yeah.
he's sort of in the dead zone. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways.
But we'll wait till next week to see what happens. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
But with all that said, I think that's pretty much it, right? That was a lot to recap, but we did
Yep.
it. Whew.
You did
And
it.
next week we'll talk about episodes 7 through 10 of Love is
Mhm.
Blind. We'll talk about Dancing with the Stars and Bachelorette and whatever may come, because I am going to Massachusetts next week.
Yep.
Eleni will be in the city, so we'll keep having to
Yep.
do these virtual things, but that's okay. We're
It's
making
all
them
good in the
work,
hood.
and we'll have some guests in the future.
Yep.
And yeah.
We'll see you next week, or you'll hear from us next week.
Okay, bye.